Do you admire the impressive dedication of the obsessive-compulsive? Are you a borderline insomniac? Don't bother actually answering either of these questions, because in my headcanon, you said yes to both of them. Today I'm going to show you my newest and most effective method of wasting what remains of my increasingly limited time on this earth. Whilst it pains me to say it, I've always been a regular watcher of Reddit reading videos. If you don't know what those are, keep up the good work. There's just something about listening to the narrated failings of our species as written by the radioactive unemployed. And clearly, I'm not alone in this. Don't get me wrong, there are some really good channels who do/used to do this. One example would be Sora TV, who I'm almost certain is no longer with us, or Soot House, which propelled Wilbur-Soot to S&P stardom. With all of that said, there's one area of this genre which always stood above the rest, one particular type of Reddit content which required an extra touch of imagination. r/no sleep stories. No Sleep is the subreddit where people post their best horror-themed creative writing pieces, and I think it's safe to say that the YouTube community really latched onto the idea. There are dozens of channels devoted to reading the stories that get posted there, with all different narrators and styles of delivering the stories in an almost audiobook format. And I have been no stranger to their rapidly growing area of work. I've become something of a connoisseur of these stories over the last few months, and I'd like to think I have a keen eye for a good narrative. Some of them are well crafted and have twists and turns with actual fan theories about what really happened. Others? Not so much. Over my time viewing these videos, however, one specific type of no-sleep content took a stranglehold. The entire idea is that you write a horror-themed story about a situation involving strange rules. And that's pretty much it. Thousands of these stories got pumped out, with hundreds being narrated by a dozen different big channels on YouTube. The premise is really bizarre, and the titles just get ridiculous at times. The narration channels do a decent job at curating the best ones, but still have found that they are habitually repetitive and not all that good. And yet they persist with examples like, I'm trapped in a grocery store and it has a strange list of rules. I work at a very strange graveyard, I broke the only rule of the job. There is an unspoken rule among the local homeless population, don't be seen past midnight. The night shift job I got seemed great, but then I read the rules. If you see me, whatever you do, don't make eye contact. My town has one rule, never whistle in the graveyard. I became a bus driver for a local school. I found a list of rules to follow. My new job has only one rule, don't die. We are trapped in a haunted house we made, there are rules we must follow. I mean, props to whoever came up with this idea, because you clearly know your audience. Far be it for me to suggest that Redditors love rules, but it seems like those greasy little guys lap this shit up. Honestly, there have been a few I sort of liked, but even in the comments I see what are presumably regular viewers making fun of the premise. Once again, the making of this video has required me to do in-depth research into the subject matter, with many nights spent listening to the soothing voices of online narrators. Which is another area to point out in and of itself. Some people listen to these horror readings to fall asleep. It seems counterintuitive at first, I know, and I suppose it is if you are a bit of a wuss. However, I can attest that the combination of a competent narrator and the confused rambling of a delusional Redditor can make for an excellent sleep soundtrack. Well, that's all I have for you today. If you want to go check out some no-sleep content, I can thoroughly recommend channels like The Dark Somnium and Lighthouse Horror, who clearly put significant effort into their readings. If you enjoyed the videos I spoke about today and don't like my views on the matter, go ahead and leave a strongly worded complaint in the comments.
I would be happy to refer you to our website.
Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for similar stuff, and stay greasy, friends.